Welcome back. Today, we're diving into something a bit different. We're looking at some truly unsettling accounts, real experiences people had, all centered around those last quiet days of summer when things feel a little off.
Yeah, our focus today is on 3 specific incidents. These came directly from the people involved. And these aren't campfire stories. They're about moments where everyday life just gets completely turned upside down by something terrifying and unexplained. We're really looking at isolation, secrets, and, well, reality itself seeming to break down.
And it's that isolation that really stands out, right? Even in familiar places, a suburban house, a lonely road, the woods. It shows how quickly that feeling of safety we take for granted can just evaporate. Okay, let's get into the first one. This involves a college student, home for about a week. Parents just bought this older house, moved in recently, and they told the student very clearly, look, there's no basement, just a crawl space for utilities. So parents leave, students alone in the house. First night's quiet, but Tuesday night, that's when it starts. They wake up to this sound, a tapping, rhythmic, steady, coming from right under their first floor bedroom.
Right from below them?
Exactly. They try to explain it away, house settling, pipes maybe, but it kept going. And it was creepy because they knew there shouldn't be anything down there, just empty space. Night 2, same thing, only. Well, louder this time, definitely louder. But night 3, that's when it really escalated. The tapping changed. It became this loud dragging noise. Scraping, like a claws on concrete maybe, or something heavy being pulled across the floor. Yeah. The narrator said it sounded, quote, too clear and too purposeful. It wasn't just random noise anymore. It sounded like someone or something was doing something down there. So they finally checked the crawl space entrance they knew about, under the porch, empty, just dirt and foundation. Totally confirms what the parents said from that angle anyway. But they're panicked now. They go outside, walk around the whole house looking for anything unusual, any other way in. And behind this big pile of old construction stuff, lumber, tarps, cinder blocks left by previous owners maybe.
Hidden.
Totally hidden. They find this metal storm door, partially painted over, blended into the foundation, concealed.
See, that's crucial. It wasn't just missed. It was actively hidden. That implies someone knew about this basement and went to lengths to keep it secret, likely for a long time. This wasn't just an oversight by the sellers.
Right. So they managed to get this door open, and there are concrete steps going down. It is a basement, a full concrete basement. They only go down a little way, just enough to see. And 2 things hit them immediately. 1, someone had definitely been living down there. Scattered food wrappers, empty water bottles, recent signs of life.
Okay, so maybe a squatter.
Well, that's the second thing. The other evidence suggested, no, this wasn't just someone trying to stay warm. This is where it gets really disturbing. On the wooden support pillars down there were these markings scratched deep into the wood. One pillar had rows and rows of scratches, like tallies, someone counting days or something.
They being tracked.
Yeah. But the other pillar that had drawings, the narrator described them as genuinely demonic, twisted pictures of people, animal, all distorted. Seriously messed up stuff.
Okay, that changes things significantly.
Yeah.
You have the practical evidence of someone living there, but the markings, tallies suggest planning, duration. The drawings, though, that points to a psychological element. Malice, maybe, or some kind of severe disturbance. It's not just about shelter.
It's weird, though, isn't it? If you're trying to stay hidden, why leave such obvious, disturbing evidence behind? Like the food trash and these really bizarre markings.
That's a good point. It could suggest a few things. Maybe overconfidence. They felt totally secure in their hidden space. Or perhaps a compulsion. Sometimes individuals like this need to leave their mark to express what's inside them. It also tells us this wasn't a short-term thing. Those drawings, the tallies, they take time. This person was down there for a while, unnoticed.
So the narrator, completely freaked out, slams the storm door shut and locks it tight from the outside with a heavy padlock they bought. And that same night, the climax. They're woken up by this incredibly loud banging, violent rattling. Someone is on the other side of that locked storm door, trying desperately to get back in.
Oh my God, trapped out.
Exactly. The noise stops suddenly. The narrator creeps to a window overlooking the backyard, and they see a figure. Couldn't make out details in the dark. Just someone sprinting full speed across the yard and disappearing into the trees or darkness beyond.
Wow. Confirmation. The dweller was real, was living there, and was now locked out and furious.
Yeah. Police came the next day, searched the woods, found nothing. The student left for college just days later, completely terrified, thinking about those drawings, and worried sick about their parents living in that house with this unknown history and this person now potentially lurking nearby.
What a terrifying thing to uncover in your own home. the violation of that presumed safety.
Absolutely. Okay, so that story hits close to home, literally. Our next one shifts dramatically. We're heading out to a really remote spot near the Montana-Idaho border, a lonely stretch of highway, different kind of isolation. The person telling the story was driving this highway regularly. One morning, late summer, they see this older car, light blue sedan, pulled off onto the shoulder, kind of angled towards the ditch.
Just sitting there.
Yeah, no hazard lights, nobody around. Looked like maybe it broke down and the driver walked off for help. Pretty standard sight out there, maybe. But then, driving back home that evening, the car is still there. Same spot. But one thing's different. The driver's side door. It's wide open now. It definitely wasn't open that morning. Just hanging open. Felt wrong.
Yeah, that is odd, like someone left in a real hurry.
Exactly. The narrator got a bad feeling, called the non-emergency line, reported it. Then maybe a week goes by, local news picks it up. Police are looking for a missing person linked to an abandoned car found. Guess where? Same spot. But here's the kicker. The official statement from the police, according to the news, was that there was no sign of foul play and, get this, no witnesses.
Wait, no sign of foul play. With a car abandoned on a remote highway, driver's door suddenly wide open and the person gone. That immediately sounds off. That open door alone is suspicious in that context. It contradicts a simple walked-away scenario.
Right. It felt wrong to the narrator, too, especially since they were a witness, technically. So feeling this weird connection to it, they joined an organized search party a bit later. Police, some off-duty firefighters, volunteers. They focused on this area near the highway shallow woods, some old irrigation ditches. They're searching for maybe an hour, and deep in the overgrown brush, they stumble onto something, an old maintenance shack, like really old. Half sunk into the ground, almost totally hidden by weeds and bushes.
Something nobody knew was there.
Seems like it. And the lock on the door was snapped off. The door itself was just hanging open. Inside, it was dark, musty. But even so, they could see signs someone had been in there recently. Empty water bottles, some food wrappers, deliberately left, not just blown in.
So maybe the missing person sought shelter there.
Possibly. But then they found the really critical piece. Near the back wall, stuck in one of the wooden boards, was this small, clean hole, splintered edges pointing outwards, looked exactly like
A bullet hole.
a bullet hole. No question in the narrator's mind. But here's the thing. They looked everywhere around it. No bullet casing on the floor, no slug embedded in the opposite wall, and crucially, no blood. Anywhere.
Okay, the lack of evidence is the evidence there. A clean hole, splintered outwards, strongly suggests an exit wound. The bullet went through the wood, likely after passing through something or someone, but no casing, no slug. That implies care was taken, maybe a revolver was used or the casing was collected. No blood is also significant. Either the shot wasn't fatal or the person was removed very quickly, very efficiently, before significant bleeding occurred at that spot. This points away from a simple missing person case and towards something violent and covered up.
The lead police officer on the scene clearly thought so too. The moment he saw that hole, the narrator said his whole demeanor changed. He got on the radio, reported it using codes, and then immediately ordered all the civilians and even the firefighters out of the area. Cleared the scene, the official investigation took over, and it became classified.
Makes sense. That finding changes the entire nature of the investigation.
But here's the truly bizarre part. Weeks later, the narrator is driving that route again. They decide to go back, find that spot in the woods, maybe see if anything else developed. They know exactly where they searched, where the shack was. They park, walk in, find the area. The trees, the ditches, the lay of the land, it's all identical. But the shack,
Don't tell me.
it was gone, completely. Not collapsed, not burned down, gone. Like it had been dug up, foundation and all, and hauled away. No trace it was ever there.
Wow. To remove an entire structure like that
Oh.
from a remote area, that takes serious effort, resources, and secrecy. That suggests whatever happened in that shack, whatever that bullet hole meant, was something someone, maybe the perpetrators, maybe even someone else wanted erased permanently.
Yeah.
Utterly removed from the record.
Yeah, left the narrator questioning their own memory, but they were certain the shack was there, and then it wasn't. Extreme measures for a no foul play case.
Extremely telling. That level of cleanup speaks volumes.
Okay, our last account tonight takes us deep into the wilderness. Pure isolation. This one is maybe the most directly terrifying. It involves a solo camper. This person had an end of summer tradition, one last solo camping trip in a very remote, unofficial spot they knew. Deep woods. On this particular trip, they stayed out fishing a bit too late, caught a nice trout, but by the time they started hiking back to their tent, it was pitch black. Absolute darkness, moving slow.
Not ideal in the backcountry.
Not at all. And then, up ahead on the trail, they see this light, faint at first, swinging back and forth, rhythmically like someone walking with a lantern or flashlight coming towards them. Thinking it's maybe another hiker, possibly lost, the narrator calls out, a friendly hello, just announcing their presence. The reaction was wrong. Instantly, the light stops swinging, just freezes, sits there for a second, and then clicks off. Total darkness again.
No reply.
No reply. Just silence for a beat. Then, suddenly, the sound of violent crashing through the bushes and branches moving incredibly fast but away from the trail, perpendicular to the narrator's position. Running away, but not in a straight line back the way they came. It was just weird, evasive, unsettling.
Not a normal reaction to encountering someone on a trail at night.
Yeah.
Only strange.
So the narrator is spooked but continues back, eventually makes it to their tent, gets inside. Hours go by. Middle of the night, they wake up, need to step outside for a minute. They cautiously unzip the tent flap, poke their head out, and standing maybe 15 feet away, stock still, motionless, is the silhouette of a person just standing there, watching the tent.
Oh no, waiting.
Just waiting. Narrator freezes, then finally manages to call out again, like, hey, or what do you want? And the instant they speak, the figure bolts towards the tent, full sprint, and lets out this scream. The narrator described it as a shrill, unnatural scream that didn't even sound human.
Unnatural how?
Pitch.
Volume.
All of it, seemingly. Something about it was just fundamentally wrong, inhuman. And the figure hits the tent, starts clawing, ripping at the entrance.
Okay, the description of the attack itself is interesting. Clawing at my face like an animal, the narrator said.
Yeah.
Not punching, not grabbing, clawing, trying to tear, to shred. That's primal. Combined with the unnatural speed and that scream, it suggests something beyond a typical human aggressor. Predatory.
Yeah, pure savagery. The narrator, thankfully, had a switchblade handy, managed to get it open and slashed wildly, cutting the attacker's hand. The figure shrieks again, that same horrible sound, scrambles back, gets off the tent, and then just crashes off into the woods again. But this time, screaming and laughing, this high-pitched, twisted laughing sound fading into the darkness.
Laughing, that adds another layer of pure horror, malice and derangement.
Absolutely. The narrator, obviously, was terrified beyond belief. Packed up immediately in the dark, got out of there as fast as possible. But the lasting terror wasn't just surviving, it was the realization of what they encountered. Something that tracked them in total darkness, waited silently outside their tent for hours, attacked with inhuman speed and sound, and laughed after being wounded. It wasn't just a person, it felt like something else.
That experience.
Yeah. Needless to say, that ended the solo camping tradition. Permanently.
I can understand why. Encounters like that leave a deep scar.
So, 3 stories, all from those quiet, fading days of summer. Different settings, different specific horrors, but you see the threads, right? The illusion of safety shattered in your own home by a hidden resident counting time.
The way crucial evidence of potential violence can be completely, inexplicably erased in remote locations, like the vanishing shack.
And that raw terror of facing something in the wilderness that seems fundamentally inhuman in its behavior and aggression. The clawing man. What this deep dive really highlights, I think, is how isolation creates vulnerability. Not just being alone, but being exposed to things that thrive or hide just outside our normal awareness. The dweller was calculated. The shack incident points to a covered-up crime. The camper faced something purely feral.
And in 2 of these cases, the proof is either gone or fleeting. The figure sprinting away, the shack removed entirely. It leaves the witnesses with this terrifying knowledge, but often little tangible evidence. Just the memory and the fear. It's the concealment again that's so powerful.
It really makes you think. Here's a final thought. If something or someone has the means to just remove a whole building without a trace, or live secretly under your floor for who knows how long, what else is operating just out of sight? What other secrets are hidden in those quiet corners we think we know?
Things we just don't have the tools or maybe the courage to find.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you for joining us on this unsettling journey today. If digging into these dark accounts and unexplained events is something you find compelling, please do support us here at Horror Docs. Hit that like button, maybe share this with someone else who appreciates these kinds of stories, and definitely subscribe so you don't miss our next investigation. We'll see you soon.